Well, hello, everyone. This is Deidre Kendrick, your nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. Tonight on Health Chats Among Friends, I have another special guest. I have Katrina Taylor with CarePatrol. Hi, Katrina.
Hello, Miss Deidre. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I had an eventful day, and I know you did as well. So,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
thank you for being able to come in, to the community to educate. That's what it's all about. So, Katrina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am Katrina Taylor. I own a franchise called CarePatrol here in Arlington, Texas. My background was banking and mortgage. I was a loan officer. I've ran a banking center before. Everything was banking and mortgage loans. And I got a position doing operations for a mortgage company. And I was like, this is not fulfilling. There has to be more out there. My personality is way too big to be sitting behind this cubicle. And so did some research. My parents were telling me, look into a franchise, try something different. And me, being ignorant, I thought a franchise was just fast food. And I'm like, I don't want to work in a fast food restaurant.
Right.
So
Taco
I don't want no parts
Bell.
of it.
Yeah.
Well, when you get that job that you kind of get fed up with, you really start looking at other options. And so I came across CarePatrol, and I was instantly in tears when I heard about CarePatrol in the industry. I had no idea that something like that existed. CarePatrol is a placement agency. It's probably the nation's largest placement agency. We have 150 different franchises all over the states.
Okay.
And when I say placement agency, for just those who don't know, we help senior citizens find assisted living, memory care, in-home care, and even if they're like active seniors who want to just, downsize and go to a place where their peers, where they're just pretty independent, we help families find independent living. CarePatrol touched me emotionally because years ago I helped place my grandmother. And I had no idea this industry even existed. And that's why I was so emotional when I heard about CarePatrol and what we can do to help families.
Oh, that is so awesome. It always starts with a story, and that's a pretty strong why, because corporate America. So you came from a totally different industry than healthcare, right?
Oh, yeah. And my grandmother, when she was living, she lived in Corpus Christi forever. And she moved in with us. Ooh, I remember I was a kid when my grandma moved in. Parents were kind of going through some things, and my grandma just came in to kind of get everything taken care of, smooth things out. And she said she was going to come over to my house and she was going to take care of business. And grandma did exactly that. She moved in with us. She was there about 7 years with us. And one day she pulls me aside and she says, Trina, I got to talk to you. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she was like, you guys are doing great. Mom and dad are good. She was like, it's time for Granny to move. And I said, move? Like, move where? And I'm devastated because that's my best friend. That's Granny.
Yeah.
And she was like, you guys are great, Trina. She was like, I want to go to a place where there are seniors like me that are active. If I want to ride the bus and go to bingo or to the casino, I can do that. If I want to have them clean my apartment or just, just hang out with my peers, that's what I want. And I said, well, why are you telling me? And she says, because you're going to help me find my forever home. So there wasn't a CarePatrol, there wasn't a place for mom or anything like that out there. So we grabbed a phone book and we just wrote down 20 communities that surrounded my mom's house.
This was around what? Would you say the 80s?
I want to say
90s?
This was 90s. I want to say I was
90s.
I remember elementary school. So probably like, fourth, fifth grade, something like that.
Because you mentioned phone book, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, when was that? I want to say probably early 90s, but I remember it was elementary school. And we grabbed this phone book and we just wrote down 20 communities that were kind of around the area. And my grandma said, we're going to go look at all of them. And I was like, all of them? She goes, yeah, we're going to go to each one. We're going to go visit and we're going to narrow down which ones we like.
Wow. She
gives me a pencil and she gives me a spiral. And she says, when we go in here, I want you to write down what you like and what you don't like. When we get home,
she was spectacular.
Oh, yeah. She said, when we get home, we're going to discuss what we saw. I said, yes, ma'am. So the very next day, she picked me up from school, which wasn't out the ordinary, picks me up from school and she goes, you got your notebook? You got your pen? And I was like, yes, ma'am. She goes, okay, we're going to the first one. So we went to a community And when I walked in there, I said, "Oh, grandma, no, you can't stay here. Look at this man in the corner by himself." She says, hey, write it down. Like, we'll discuss it when we get home. Like, I just want you to observe. I said, okay. And so every day after school, we went to a new community, back to back, back to back. And we narrowed down our list. We made a list of communities that we liked and we want to see again. And then we had a no list of communities that we just wouldn't even go back into just after first impression. So I did all that with my grandmother, and she moved into a place in Fort Worth. I'm not sure what it's called now because it's been changed and remodeled, but grandma moved in apartment 415, and she stayed there until she passed. My grandmother got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer 2011.
Oh, wow.
In 2012, 30 days before I finished my my bachelor's degree at Midwestern State, my grandmother passed away. A month before I walked across the stage. I was devastated. But when I look back, I got to see home health come in. I got to see hospice come in. So I really got to see my grandmother age in place. And so when CarePatrol was introduced to me, when I was doing my research, trying to find what I wanted to do with my life, I was in tears because I was like, I've done this before for my grandmother. Right. So now when I'm helping families, I always think to myself, would I put my grandmother in here? If the answer is no, if the answer is no, I'm not going to show it to you. It's just no. But I always think about, I just felt like maybe my grandmother encouraged me or pretty much set me up to what I was going to be doing. And I had no idea that this industry even existed. Right. So, I mean, I love what I do. And my grandma's with me every day. And I always think about when I'm with the family, would I put Veda in this facility? If the answer is no, I'm not going to recommend it to a family to stay in.
Oh, that is the most wonderful story that I've heard in a while. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
She was my girl. She was my girl.
Because you know what? It's all about purpose. And Absolutely. Your passion follows with that purpose. And she was able, what little did you know that fast forward, 20 years?
Yeah.
That you would be in the spot where God wants you to be.
Exactly.
Because she planted that seed. Yes, that's absolutely what it is. No argument, no doubt.
Sometimes when I go into a community, if they're playing bingo, I'll cry sometimes because I just see things that she used to like to do that remind me of her.
Right. Because you know what, the myth of nursing homes, you know, in this day and age, because I was asked a question today about, you know, nursing homes and assisted livings and different things like that. So I'm going to ask the expert. So can you just elaborate for the audience the difference between like a nursing home versus assisted living versus independent living?
Okay. So a nursing home now they're called, you know, because the term and, you know, the bad name that they got, no one likes the name nursing home. So the new term is they call them skilled nursing facilities, nicknamed SNFs. But skilled nursing facilities, now, if someone goes there, there may be someone who needs 24-hour care, someone to come and check in every couple of hours. Like they can't do anything on their own. Right. So someone who needs 24-hour care, around the clock care, a lot of watching. When you get to independent living, that's somebody who was like my grandma. She was active, she was mobile, could ride the bus, wanted to go to the casino. She was independent. And she could do things for herself. She could still cook. She could still she could shower herself, you know, get dressed. She didn't need any assistance. Right. Then when you get to assisted living, that may be somebody who you want them to keep their independence, but maybe they need help with getting dressed. You know, maybe some showers, someone to come in and clean their apartment. Maybe just need a little more help just going throughout their day, medication management, things like that. Right. And then you get into memory care. And memory care is for somebody who their dementia has progressed so much where they just really can't be at home by themselves at all, or and need to be in a secure unit. If they're exit seeking, or you have some people who, I had a client who had a silver alert because he kept leaving the house. And one time he left and nobody could find him. So if you have somebody who was a wanderer, you know, memory care is not just because you have dementia, but it's like if you are a danger to yourself or you are exit seeking, then we recommend memory care.
Right.
And then, memory care,
Yeah.
assisted living,
Yeah.
independent. I just ran through it.
You did
I
an
ran through it
excellent job,
fast.
because there is a myth out there that you're going to be sitting in a corner slobbering, right?
Yes. Assisted livings now, and a lot of the clients that I have, they're like, oh no, you're not showing me a nursing home, but
Right.
you just have to get in there and see, because there is a difference between assisted and then the skilled nursing facility. Like they have
Absolutely.
activities and field trips, and you can go to the dining room and eat with your friends and have hour cocktails. So it's not what people think a nursing home is.
Right. Absolutely. So that's what I love about, the service that you guys provide, because you actually go with the clients.
Yes.
And you
Yes, ma'am.
actually do an assessment prior to going with the clients to match them up with the right choices
Yes,
of facilities, right?
So
you don't work for the facility.
Nope.
You work for the client, and the facility pays you.
Yes.
Right?
So our services are free.
Right.
We
for the client.
meet with yes, ma'am. We meet with the family. We do something called a care discovery that tells me pretty much what they need on the daily basis, kind of some medical history, and that can kind of guide me to where they need to be at. Memory care, assisted living, or if they're independent, that guides me. And then, what's different between CarePatrol and other placement agencies is that once we do the care discovery, we're not just going to send you an email, say, hey, go check out place A, B, C, and D. We actually will come and pick you up, and we will show you the recommendations that we want you to see. So we're there with you every step of the way. We're on the tour with you. We're there from beginning to end. That way you always have an advocate right there with you when you're going through the process, because it's difficult going by yourself. You look online, you don't really know until you get in there and have somebody who has the inside of how the community really is.
Absolutely. And you're not steering nobody, you're really matching them up. So what I wanted to say is that I wish I would have known about these services when my mom got released from the hospital, because they give you that 3 days to find, and then they give
families are freaking out because they're trying to find something.
It's so stressful. It's so stressful because they just went to Medicare.gov and got a list of facilities, and then handed us a stack of papers. And so we're like scrambling to get off of work, and can you get off of work? Can you get off of work? No.
Yeah, changing your schedule up just to go.
Yeah, and just because that facility is at the top of the list, does not mean that facility is for you.
Right. Each facility may have something different to offer. Like I had a client who her dad had dementia, but he loved to fish. So there's a community in Arlington where they have a fishing pond. So it's the little things I listen for, because you still want to give the senior their sense of independence.
Yeah.
So just little thing, if someone likes to dance or knit, or they have a sewing class, like just other than the care, you just want them to get great care and still be able to enjoy the rest of their years.
Right. And that's for the senior too. They still want that independence, because that's your most precious commodity, your health and your independence. And people still want to hold on to that. You don't want to take that away. You fight to keep a hold of that. So the service that you provide is very personal. It's one-on-one. Some places will send you a list of services, and to me that's a disservice. In my opinion, it's a disservice, because you're still leaving.
You're not even I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But you're not even like face to face with somebody. How can you send somebody to a place that you haven't been to or even met the client? I get a good feel of the family and things that they like, and then I make the best recommendations possible. But it's how can you do that and you don't really know who you're working with? And that's why CarePatrol is so important, because we really take that time and we're face to face, and you're going to have that pretty much like that friend with you every step of the way, but you're not doing any of the groundwork. We are.
Right. So you're boots on the ground, and you're really walking with that client through that journey. So that's what I love about CarePatrol versus some other agencies. We're not going to mention any names tonight.
No, we won't do that.
Yeah, no, we won't do that. So I love your why. I love the fact that you do personalized, individualized that assessment. Now, what did you call that assessment again?
A care discovery.
Care discovery. I like that. I like that because you're really kind of like investigating who this person is, where their needs are, where their income level is, and then you're matching them up so they don't waste their time.
Exactly.
Because I felt like we wasted a lot of time when we had those 3 days and we had to go and look up for a place for our mom. And it's like we walk into a facility, and as a nurse, I'm looking at things a little differently than my sisters would. So I'm looking at the medical aspect, the professionalism, does it smell, things like that, customer service, things like that. And then
how they handle, how do you handle communication with the family, things like that. And if there's an emergency, who am I calling?
Yes. And I'm looking at the other clients that are there. And sometimes I walk up to the other clients and say, hey, how do you like it here? And
I tell my families, ask, when you get in there, you ask you be as transparent as possible. Ask any question that comes to your mind, because this is your mother, your grandmother, could be a sister. Like, you just don't, my goal is to find the right place the first time. I would hate to show you something and we move again. That's a disservice. So that's why we take our time with the care discovery, because we want to make the right move the first time.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, Katrina, this has been such a pleasure talking with you. So is there anything else you want to add about CarePatrol before we wrap up?
I love CarePatrol. I love what we do. And you're really going to have like a companion, an advocate as you're going through the process.
Right.
And, CarePatrol is not, not some big company that was just founded. The owner of the franchise, he was a social worker at first.
Okay.
And how the franchise got started was that, he was making his rounds. He went into a facility and there was a woman who was in memory care who shouldn't have been in memory care. And so he would sit down and have a conversation with her, and she was very coherent. She could talk. He was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, well, I was getting out of rehab and my son found this place by the house, but it wasn't where she needed to be. And so he started seeing that more often, that people were in the wrong community. So he founded CarePatrol in '93. And the goal is to match families with the right type of care, not just to place somebody because it's convenient.
And no fault of the son. He probably got a list from the hospital where she got discharged from.
And he was probably like, oh, it's right here by the house. I can come and see mom after work. Like he really didn't know. No. But that's why CarePatrol is we are who we are, is because we really do take that time to invest in the family and we don't want to, like I said, we're not going to just place you because of location. We're really going to dig and see, what does mom or dad need, grandma, and is this the best place they can get the care that they need? Because care is a CarePatrol. So the number one thing is going to be
I was getting ready. You beat me to it. You beat me to it. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I love it. I love it. I love it. So if someone wanted to find out more about you, your services, what areas you service, by the way, what areas do you service?
So I cover Tarrant and Dallas County. So I start from Arlington, Grand Prairie, DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill. I can even go into like Euless and Irving. I have those too. So pretty much Tarrant and Dallas counties is what I have. And if somebody just had questions, needed some help with their loved ones, you can give me a call at 817-228-7220. That's my cell phone. And my email is ktaylor1@carepatrol.com.
Awesome. Awesome. And do you have a website as well?
I do. It's arlington.carepatrol.com.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And that will get you right to me.
Yay. And if you can't remember that, call me. I'll get you in touch with Katrina.
Yeah, she'll let me know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But Katrina, thank you for your time. This has been very informative, very educational, and very enlightening. And I thank you.
I appreciate you for getting me out here.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you everyone for tuning in to Health Chats Among Friends. My name is Deidre Kindred. I'm a nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. And I love bringing you reputable resources from our local communities. Tune in next time for another amazing chat with another amazing resource partner. Thank you.